Welcome everyone. My name is Latina Kushkieva, managing partner of HR Consulting Partners and co-chair of the HR committee. This topic that we have introduced today, and we have wonderful speakers sharing the experience, but also putting questions on the table, because the purpose of all the committees in the American Chamber is to learn from each other, share experiences, but also search for answers and understand who has found already a solution for the questions and challenges that we're still fighting with. So we have invited very interesting speakers today to share their experiences and put questions on the table and seek for the experience of the other members, whether they have found a solution. The topic is in a broader context, digitalization with focus on, we're going to speak about focus on a paperless program, where we will have Andrea Tonetti, head of HR of UniCredit Bullbank, sharing and opening a discussion on that topic. After Andrea, we will have Eva Makedonska, who is the HR director of Ingram Micro. GBS stands for Global Business Services, I guess. Eva?
Exactly.
All right.
Correct.
Global Business Services, who is going to share also the experience of Ingram Micro into introducing electronic signature and automation of HR processes, and what are the decisions that they have taken in that direction, and what are the challenges that they're expecting, or maybe they are already facing, and how are they solving them. And after Eva, we will have Svetlozar Petrov, who is the managing director of Job Tiger, who is known as Zaro. So Zaro is going to share with us the experience of Job Tiger in automation and paperless office and work from everywhere, which is the reality the majority of the companies took. Of course, with exceptions, if the business allows it, of course. What are the lessons learned, and what do we plan, and what do we foresee? How do we foresee we will continue in the future? And under the broad umbrella of digitalization, we will have after Zaro, Maria Stoeva, head of business development, and Rosica Diamandieva, business development manager from Manpower Bulgaria, talking about gamification of HR processes, specifically how it can be used as a supporting or as a replacement of traditional approaches to talent evaluation and development, and what could be and might be the impact of gamification of HR processes on the employer branding and the company climate as a whole. And with that, I'm giving the floor to Andrea Tonetti, head of HR at UniCredit Bullbank. Andrea has been in Bulgaria from the last November, and while some of us have been joining in the beginning, already know some words in Bulgarian, but I remember our call with you, Andrea, in the showed us a table you have specifically designed for one-to-one meetings, but I guess you're using it for piling documents on it that you have to sign, and this is how you came up. It was your initiative to actually come up with this topic on what is it that we can do to reduce the paper in our job. So Andrea, the floor is yours.
Thank you very much, Zatlina, and thank you very much for inviting me again to this community event. And today I would like to share a little bit my personal experience here in Bulgaria in the first few months, but also what I experienced in my previous experiences abroad, mainly in Italy and Hungary. If you allow me, I'm gonna share a quick presentation. I will try to cope with 15 minutes to allow, as you suggested, the right time and also questions. I would say that if we look to quick wins that we have to solve, we would like to solve, is to find a partner, and we are screening the local market that allow us to manage everything in terms of digital signature. We already move for all the internal contract in that respect, but every contract which refer to hiring, offboarding, change of position, being a contract today that is relevant for the external stakeholders, is still on paper. We are going to introduce the new digital signature exactly with the scope to become paperless in the flow. We need to couple this with a document management tool to properly manage the process. And at the end, we come to the critical point that is storing the documents. And today, in my understanding, but I rely on your experience that for sure is higher than mine, and I'm really curious to see the other presentation. The real topic here is that my colleagues told me several times, okay, but even if we have a former colleagues, he or she can ask us to produce a document after several years. So theoretically speaking, we have to allow this colleague to be connected to our database. I have, let's say, a different idea how to solve it, because this for me become a little bit cumbersome. So generally speaking, we are in the phase where we assess the current situation. Cannot be worse. Let's say we can just improve in terms of papers. We are pretty advanced on learning. We are pretty advanced on everything that allow our colleagues to work from everywhere and every time. What is our focus is how digital signature will transform this production of paper first, how to manage the flow through a proper document management tool, how to organize ourselves vis-a-vis the storage, and how, this was, also my first request when the first time I joined the community and I had the talk with Latina, especially how we, in our responsibility, could, lobby a bit to convince to simplify, because, there are trends that goes from west to east, and maybe we can create a kind of competitive advantage in this market if we anticipate, because really the law currently seems not to be the easiest one. But this is also the interpretation of my HR colleague working in a bank. I'm really curious to hear the opinion of the other colleagues work even in other industries, because I'm sure that there are most advanced one in this respect. So I try to speed up, not to go through each slide, but to share mainly the experience, the concept, and to be really close to the point, and also to stick with 12 minutes that maybe could allow us to discuss, and also I'm really curious to learn from you. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Andrea, and I really hope that we will see in today's in the experience of our company some other ideas, which I really. What did you say? Legally religious? No, you used a different term.
I said addicted at the beginning. You
Addicted, yes. You will see some of the experiences, because I had also previous discussions with some of the other presenters, so that you will see some maybe on the edge solutions for the legally addicted people. There will be solutions that are on the edge for those. So I'm actually putting the question to everyone in this meeting. Everyone, go ahead. We have time for the questions and answers, and Andrea has reserved that time from his presentation. So whoever wants, please I don't.
I see a question from Danny in the chat. Maybe if you
Mm-hmm.
would like, we can start from that.
Yes.
So I believe this is a crucial point. Um, so how is it possible that the company talk about simple banking, invest a lot on customer experience and nothing on employee experience? Okay, so this is not the case, but this is the main principle. When we talk about engagement, for me, is because there's a common vision about the future first. Apart, the right environment, a good team spirit, is a matter of common purpose and goal. Okay, so a bank that would like to be felt as simple, that would like really to provide a better customer experience, should start from the employee experience. If the employee doesn't feel the digital experience, how is it able to convince the customer that it is better? Okay, so there's a lot of connection, as you said, because it's a matter of walking the talk. It's a matter of considering, as usual, not just the customer as a relevant stakeholder, but apart from the shareholder, that are the owners of the banks, also the employees, and to go in parallel. This is my answer. I hope that I answered to you.
Yeah, well, you can hear me, Andrea. Hello, everyone. Well, thank you for your answer. Just one more question adding to mine, if I may. When you say it is important to look at and work on the employee experience, but are you ready as an organization, not only as an HR unit, but as an organization being the amount of it as you are, to walk the talk, meaning that, yeah, you worry about and you focus on the employee experience, but you also have to demonstrate pushing on the employer brand and the business that you work on the customer side. So do you plan not only to have a paperless office, but also a paperless service for your customers? So that is a pure demonstration on going both ways.
Yes.
I hope. Yeah.
So
Okay.
I would say yes. And regarding HR, I would say also that we are following the business. So the business created and organized itself with dedicated teams, focus on customer experience. And we are doing the same in HR. We are moving from an organization that is the typical HR organization based on processes, compensation, to an organization where, we have a team that is called people caring. We have a team that is called employee experience and development. So, and we already depict the moment that matters in the employee life cycle. And also we are depicting the personas. So, because apart of the employee life cycle, there's the personal life cycle. And this is important, especially in this country and especially in our industry. Just to share a couple of thoughts. In this country, is a small country. We are 7 million people approximately, right? If we look to active people, we have roughly 300,000 people that are inactive for personal reason. Okay, most of them are moms. Banking is a pink sector, as I mentioned last time. 75% of our colleagues are female. We have 400 colleagues out of 4,000 that are in maternity leave. So what we can do, so the concept of employee experience, meaning attractive, hiring, onboarding, developing, retaining, coupled with another dimension, that is the dimension of the personal life cycle, and moms for us are important customer, is something we must consider to create a better environment. Apart from paperless, that I would say it's more an operational topic. I hope I answered to you.
Yeah, absolutely. Thank you very much, Andrea.
Okay, thank you very much. And whoever comes up with another question to Andrea, please do address it in the chat. and we will make sure we coordinate the process with getting this question addressed from Andrea or to whomever from the other speakers you might have a question. Eva, with that, I would like to give you the floor to share what is it that you have implemented in Ingram Micro, and what are the challenges that you have faced and why you've come up with that solution.
Well, thank you very much. I hope you see my screen already.
Yes,
I'm
we
gonna go
do.
on presentation mode very soon.
Yes,
So,
perfect.
hello, and very nice to have you all here. From some of you, I have received a lot of questions in LinkedIn under something that I posted a couple of weeks ago, and that's that Ingram Micro with 1,100 associates went completely digital in terms of onboarding, issuing documentation, saving documents and everything else. And that's the honest truth. This is what we did, and we signed actually the last paper document a couple of weeks ago. And I understand for a lot of us it's a risk because there are some questions mainly around how compliant it is it legal, and etc. So that all these questions I'll try to address today in a short presentation. But because I'm first time amongst you, this is about me. I am Eva. I'm working in Ingram for the past 9 years. Ever since we designed that company and created it, I'm the first employee. So I feel comfortable, happy, because what this company is part of me, as I probably influenced quite a lot of the culture into it. Then I have my wonderful team of 17 people. I'll speak a little bit about it later. And this year during COVID, apart from accelerating digital, I accelerated in some areas that I never thought of. Like for instance, made a gym in the garage, you can see it, and also traveling with my daughter, who is now on this picture, particularly on electronic studies at school. So this caravan I rented, and we went all around Bulgaria. My personality type is debater, so I like a good debate, and also it's a bit related with my hobby because I like to have guests at home, talking to them, talk them to that sometimes. It can have, of course, some kind of a negative side because I can become a little bit argumentative, but that's another topic. So yeah, that's my team. I have 17 people right now working in Ingram. As I said, 1,100 associates. Everybody at the moment are at home. On the 27th of September, we are anticipating them back at least for a week in the office because as you have been asking and talking, and I've seen all the ideas around that, we feel the same. We miss each other, and especially those people that we hired completely remote through the processes that we have invented. Most people never see environment, and I can tell you that Ingram Micro is very, very strong in is exactly the environment and the teams. So that has been a little bit missing from our spectrum, and this is what we are looking to have. So apart from 17 wonderful people, really I have a team that probably the length of service altogether makes more than 200 years. That means they're happy. So if I sum it. So we have also a couple of processes under us, which is talent acquisition, learning development, HRBP, employer brand, and HR administration. Perhaps all of you are experiencing the same, but I would go and speak about the talent acquisition first and how that transformed overall. So our onboarding process is across Ingram Micro, all the locations. Ingram Micro is 35,000 associates across the globe, the biggest IT distributor in the world. So basically everybody are following the same process. We use JobVite. We put an RFP in JobVite that goes to a couple of approvals, and that is landing for screening. And in the screening, you can see the market. We work LinkedIn. We have refer a friend. Jobs.bg is only just to illustrate that we work with any kind of boards, etc. Our advertisements are everywhere, basically, because the company is expanding, but we also have people that are leaving. From 1,100, always someone wants to leave the company. This year we have put chatting bot, is called Mia. So basically there's a few of our, not few, but like some of our job publications, you can talk with our chatbot. So that's easy, that's nice. And when you poke the bot, it's asking you couple of simple questions about the language, your background, and your salary expectations, most importantly for the role. And it's storing that particular information, but it's not declining anyone. So we don't trust the artificial intelligence to say no to the candidates. So basically that happens through WhatsApp. It's probably a good hint for you, because in Bulgaria and across Europe, a lot of the providers of telecommunication services are having the SMS paid, and a lot of these chatbots are working with paid SMSs, and the candidates are not very happy. So we established that to go through WhatsApp, because that was the only one alternative. I know that Viber probably is more useful, but yet we don't have that chatbot working with them. Interviewing, nothing special. We have interviews. Because of the volume, maybe one of the special things is that we have panel interviews. Sometimes a couple of managers are seeing one candidate and does not necessarily being seen by the manager that is going to lead that particular team. That's one of the things that we are doing for roles that are not very complicated in terms of job. And here we are on the final step, where we need to onboard our associates. So how is everything working? We work with Workday. Probably you have seen it already from the organizational structure that I've shown. And Workday is creating all the data. So if you have anything in terms of payment, anything in terms of job description and stuff, we are storing there. So that one is there. And for all the roles, we have pre-designed templates. And then we have DocuSign, which is actually creating kind of like an offer, or it can create any other document, any other that we have put as a template, like maternity leaves, bank declarations. But let's focus first on the onboarding, because I know that that's the pain point. So basically, that creates the first offer. I can quickly go out here and just show you how the offer looks like. It's not here. Probably it's not open, or I did open it at the end. No, anyway, so I'll try to show it in a little bit. Can't see it open yet. Yeah, so we are here. I'll come back to the presentation, and probably I'm going to come back. It's not something super special, the job offer of Ingram Micro, unless I don't send it to you guys. But anyway.
Then it becomes special, and we apply for your position.
This is where it becomes special, indeed. So basically everything is yes, what I can show you. I can show you my my screen. Now we're gonna see I don't have too many meetings today. But what I can show you, if I go just here and I say DocuSign, not sync, sign. Okay. So you can see that every single offer that we have sent, or any single document that we have sent, is creating hit in my mailbox to see it, how it looks like. And let's pick up this one. These are all signed, so it's not going to show anything in particular. But what is there in the envelope, you can see here. This is a job offer that we have to extend to someone. And if I click on it, and if it was really for me to sign, there would be a sign button. So I sign, and that creates like a page, a special one that goes to our associate, that he can open and see the same thing that I have signed and I have sent to him. It creates also notification from his email. And if he's using the same tools as we use, probably is going to also create a meeting. So the person that is out there, he can see and sign back to us. And then when it signs back to us, I'll go back to the presentation. When it signs back to us, what's going to happen? We're going to see that in Workday automatically. So this is the first step of the process. So that's the very first step of the process. That we have when we are sending the offer and the person is actually taking the offer from our side. And then automatically the Workday is creating a contract with all the data that is collected from the offer, because in this offer we also ask the person for picture, for ID cards, etc. So he needs to attach those documents. That goes back to Workday, and it creates the contract. Usually a person has 48 hours to think about it, to sign it or negotiate it, and send it back again through DocuSign. And that creates Workday entry. And here comes the thing. I have some more data, because right after I have a presentation, I'm going to use the same one, as you can imagine. So I stop you here. So that's the process that I'm just trying to describe. So here it is. We are going employee receive notification, sending automatically the contract. And then what is happening? The document is saved in personal electronic file, and the payroll providers also receive a copy of it. We work with Deloitte, so we are lucky with that. So they have a good systems, and they can get it through. So all this is now completely automatic. We see the person only to grab the laptop. So on the left-hand side of this slide, you can see how many hours we have saved and what kind of improvement that is. So basically we have 60% less paper because in the process we don't print anything. At the end, you may ask me, I am sure that question is going to come, are you keeping, as per the law, 5 years paper in the rack? Well, yes, we keep it a little bit. I hope we are not going to keep it forever, but for now we are printing some of the documents. Of course, we can produce an employee file printed immediately on the dot if someone comes and wants to audit that for fact. So we are saving 160 hours of our time, 20,000 sheets paper per year. So 160 because before the process was like, come in the office, read the contract, together we negotiate. People are stuck there for, let's say, about 20 minutes altogether. It's not about contract also with the offer. It was a similar type of process. Then taking everything, like your equipment and everything else. So that was really pretty tough process to manage. Maybe you're gonna ask me for the labor book. Yes, we have it. This one we have. We still keep it. People need to bring it, etc. I hope we are going to have electronic book soon. By the way, we were in a meeting on with the previous cabinet, and the social minister was there. And one of my associates was asking around the labor book, and they were questions, answers about this electronic labor book. And the last question he asked, well, then why keeping a labor book? And the minister straight into his face, I'm not going to answer on provocative questions. So that's very sensitive for us. For us, it was okay. Okay, we're gonna maintain that, but it's something that we only in Bulgaria have, and most probably we're gonna say goodbye to that procedure a bit later in time. So it gets 8 clicks to get promotion finalized. Of course, this external process we use internally as well for everybody. Any annexes, promotions, etc., goes through DocuSign as well. And we believe we are 100% GDPR compliant, at least with the European consultations that we took. And also we have quite a good and robust legal team here in Bulgaria. So basically, because we are also signing a lot of contracts with vendors, let's say Apple, for instance, would never sign with any DocuSign. They would always use Apple signature. So we have that. I mean, there are certain clients or certain institutions that doesn't want to really recognize that particular document, and then probably we are facing something. But I can tell you, National Revenue Agency is accepting everything without any exception with DocuSign, so that's a good sign for now. Some banks are accepting it as well, so that's another very good sign. Any kind of kindergartens, etc., so far so good. We don't have anything bad to say about that. So the process is going well, and I'll be very pleased if we meet again after our first audit on the process, so that I would be able to give you more heads up. We have 5 minutes, and I'll be very pleased if I can answer some questions if you have.
And you will get a lot, I'm sure. We already have 2 in the chat, and comment from our side about the labor book. The American Chamber of Commerce also not only does sharing of best practices and putting questions on the table and asking for others how did they address those challenges, but also does a lot of lobbying. So removal of the labor book has been recommended and continues to stay. And we do recommend that to every cabinet. It's been there for the last, I think, 8 years in the list of recommendations, and nothing happens. But
Yeah.
the more we are vocal about it, I do hope that someday it will be removed. So you already have 2 questions in the chat. They're both from Denica. A question.
Can you please read them for me, because I don't see the
How
chat
do
at
you
the
keep
moment.
the autonomy of the hiring manager in making the decision who to be hired, having so many decision makers? And
Mhm.
how do you register the decision on the selected candidate in Workday or on paper?
Well, I'll start with the second one. So, as I said, we use Jobvite, which is linked with Workday. It's not the best because Workday is also having their own recruitment tool, but we are probably going to look for it in the path in the next couple of years. I already heard about it. The thing is that Jobvite is linked with Workday. So everybody that we say approved goes directly in Workday. From Workday, all this process that I'm saying, e-admin, creating an offer and everything else, it's triggered by Workday. So it's pretty much automatic. You don't have to enter any names or anything because that comes through the recruitment process and through the documents that this person attaches in order to start to work with us. That's the first one. No, on paper, we don't store a thing, especially on the interviewing process when the interviewing process goes on. And then the decision makers. Well, that's a very good question because you know what we were thinking. Let's better try to funnel our decision makers and let's make some people truly decision makers for their teams or for their and we identify them because not everybody it's not necessarily a manager to be a good recruiter. So we have higher grade recruitment, etc. Training, so we know who they are. And basically what we decided, let's better give that opportunity for me rather than having many interviews and like slowing down the process, because you can imagine that these volume recruitments that we are handling every day, they can be really a mess. I see that candidate, oh, you know, it's not the right fit, but maybe in the go-to-market department is the right fit. Oh, come again. Go to the other department, then again interviewing, that 3-4 interviews, and then at the end, we've been there. And then at the end, the candidate is completely demotivated, disengaged to start with us. So we said no to this one, no to this approach. So we have these panel interviews, and every panel interview is having a decision maker. So basically, that's the one, and he's saying that's a good candidate, good match for us, etc. Of course, that was a change management of a kind, because for a team leader not to be able to choose and not to go through the recruitment process with a candidate, that was a big hiccup. But slowly, they started to trust each other and to be and to be good for one another. I see that I have 2 minutes, and if you allow me, I would like to show you something as a last slide of my presentation. So all this digitalization made it to the news, prime time in the news. I mean, on the national TV. So basically, I'm gonna give you a chance to look at this. It was played like 2-3 weeks ago, and it explains a little bit more about the process right here. It's 2 minutes.
If you can stop it and then share again, and when you click on share
Yeah,
button,
I know the sound,
you
right?
need to yes.
Yeah. Yes. Stop sharing. I saw it on the demo where I need to go, and then I forgot it. Here, right? Optimize for the motion and video, right? Share computer audio. Okay. All right, then we go.
Е виждала мениджърите си на живо.
Това ще дойде към мен, ще отиде към HR-ите и да може да ти прави заплатата, което нали е важно.
Но вече се познават.
Всичко протича изцяло дигитално, тъй като съм в процес на обучение, работя с колегите, споделяме екрани, тук трябва да направиш това и това.
Компанията, за която работи Екатерина, вече е с дигитална администрация.
Тук е архива. Така изглежда архив за 1100 човека служители.
Преформатирането от него 6 месеца и вече спестява десетки часове на служителите.
Много от нещата, за които преди идваха, служебни бележки, хартия друга, майчинства, всякакви видове отпуски и така нататък, трябваше да ги предават в офиса на ръка. А сега вече сме въвели системи, чрез които това може да става изцяло електронно.
Назначаването на един служител преди отнемало 42 листа хартия и забележете 9 часа. Сега този процес е сведен до само 3 листа хартия и 3 часа. За година това ще спести над 20 000 листа хартия и 160 часа за обработката на тези документи.
Заради пандемията институциите станали по-благосклонни към електронните документи и това ускорило процеса. И все пак, все още сме рекордьори по използвана хартия.
Подобно на Индия, на така развиващите се страни, ние използваме също страшно много хартия.
А докато служителите чакат да се върнат в офиса, и кафето станало дигитално.
Екипа ми са направили всеки ден в определен час да се събират така по кафе, нали, докато работим в целия процес, да може да си поговорим, да се видим, т.е. да го има и все пак контакта.
Все пак приятно е да имаме този възможност да се видиме с хората, да се запознаваме, но по-различно е, когато се виждаме лице по лице.
За новините на Нова, Благой Цицелков.
Okay. So
Well, Eva, this is yes. I'm really curious when we meet you after
Yeah.
the first visit of the authorities.
Yeah.
Well, you have also other questions in the chat which we are going to
Sure.
share with you. Alternatively, if for some reason we have time in the end, we will address them. But you have questions also again from Denitsa, from Savina, Dineva.
Yeah.
And
Now that I stop sharing, I'm going to read them in the chat, and if I can answer in the chat, that's going to be perfect.
Okay, that's really great. Thank you very much for that.
Well, thank you for giving me opportunity. I'm really proud with what we have achieved. Probably you can hear that in my voice already, and you are one of the first audience that are a little bit lifting the curtain how the mechanism works. Thank you.
And we are also very happy that you took the invite to share, to somehow also challenge the assumptions that we are all working with. Yes?
Let's see. Thank you.
For all of us who have been in HR for years. Thank you very much. I'm going to ask then, and as Eva said, she will be addressing the questions in the chat. With that, I'm giving the word to Zaro, and Zaro, Zaro is probably gonna. Zaro, it's actually your decision. What we discussed in the beginning, probably either in Bulgarian or in English, whatever you prefer, is going to share with us what is the Job Tiger experience in automation and paperless office and work from everywhere, and specifically what are the lessons that we learned and how do we foresee that we are going to proceed and continue in the near future. Zaro, микрофонът е твой.
Благодаря. Andrea, how it's with you? Can you follow in Bulgarian?
I cannot, but if you are more comfortable, don't be afraid. I will do my best to follow.
Okay. So, виждате, нали?
Виждаме много добре.
Добре. Аз се постарах да сложа по-големи букви, за да може, независимо кой къде и как гледа, да може да вижда и главно да може да се чете. С две думи, за какво са ни всичките тия работи? Те и колегите го казаха, преди всичко става дума за ефективност, за спестяване на пари, за улесняване на процесите. Сега също някак се мина през тази тема, хората се мотивират от цялото това нещо. В смисъл, особено младите, всеки иска да е модерен, да някак си, те всичко друго вършат по телефона и тия хартии даже имам чувство, че не знаят от тях къде да ги държат, къде ги напълним с хартия. Естествено цялото нещо пази околната среда, става дума за CSR, т.е. е част от общата цялостна мотивация и ангажираност на екипите, за това го правим. Няколко истории. Сега ние сме HR компания. Започнахме като интернет сайт, първия портал за работа. Целият ни път, целият живот на Job Tiger е минал през автоматизиране на някакви процеси. Аз накрая станах някакъв нърд, който постоянно търси някой процес, за да го автоматизира и да стане по-точен. Първият беше естествено взаимоотношенията с клиентите. Всичко почва с великата екселска таблица в 2000-та година. Още 2001 стана ясно, че така не се получават нещата. Първо ние си продуцирахме базите данни, които обслужваха всички наши взаимоотношения с клиенти. Даже понеже миналото ми е на програмист, не знам колко от вас знаят, ги правех аз. Постепенно това се разви до един мастодонт, който стана толкова труден за управление, че преди 4-5 години вече се наложи сериозно да се замислим как това става и накрая се премина от нашия собствен софтуер към Salesforce, който аз вярвам, че наистина е най-доброто в света по отношение на тези неща. Още повече към него успяхме да прехвърлим и фактурирането. Сега като говоря за пари, да го обясня съвсем ясно да се получи. JobTiger по около 2005 година издаваше около 600 фактури на месец, които се принтиха на хартия, изпращаха се, пъхаха се в пликче, изпращаха се с куриер до клиент, после получавахме обратни разписки, събирахме ги, за да имаме доказателства и така нататък. Резултат 6 лева средно за куриер и час и половина на фактура. След това Борика измислиха и фактура, още доста се ползва, най-вероятно доста от вас получават и фактури. И фактура премина вече без куриерски и половин час на фактура. Това погледнато през работно време, през 600 фактури на месец прави доста спестено време. На мен лично ми позволи да махна реално едно работно място да го спестя. По-късно преминавайки към Salesforce и препрограмирайки всичко с неговите възможности, вече фактурата отнема около 3 минути произвеждане, изпращане и следене на плащането, което отново е някакво тотално спестяване. Когато говорим какво ни носят тия процеси, ето това носят. Подобна история с рекрутмент софтуера, обичайната екселска таблица премина в OpenCats в 2008 година, оттам премина на eSmart Recruit, така че отново много по-съвършени методи, всичко е в облака и това беше и част от прословутия проект за работа от всякъде. Сега, за да се работи от всякъде, трябваше всичко да се дигитализира, да мине в облака, защото включително и офисните файлове сервери, да не говорим за хартията, са нещо, което е проблем и честно казано има възможности, но много по-лесно и по-ефтино за управление, когато стоят просто в облака. GoodWork е нещото, което служи за e-learning, за мотивация, то е геймифицирано, наш вътрешен софтуер, между другото е много хубав и той също е в облак от известно време. В момента го подготвяме и за клиенти да могат да го ползват, ако пожелаят. Софтуерните роботи са една тема също, която е много дълга и широка, но се оказа, че между другото тя е доста често давана за пример една съседска румънска компания. Доста направи в роботите. Изкушение, което ние отдавна имахме. И се оказва, че те автоматизират голяма част от повторяемите задачи. Примерно, когато изпратим бюлетина на JobTiger и се върнат мейли с сгрешен адрес, с проблемни мейли и така нататък, робота е той, който отваря пощенската кутия, от която се изпраща Office JobTiger, обработва всички тия мейли според причината за връщането им, след което ги вади автоматично от мейлинг листата или информира администратор да го прави. И понеже като интернет компания имаме много автоматични мейли, напомнени, ремайндери, ръчната обработка на това нещо беше един ад, който също отнемаше едно работно място, което в момента чисто и просто липсва. Като казвам премахнати работни места, скоро правих една справка и през 2015 година сме били 42 души на постоянни договори и 87 на граждански. В момента сме 15 на постоянни, от които 3 мами и един граждански договор и обема на работата е станало доста повече от това, което беше. Така че всички тези неща, като ги описвам, всяко едно от тях е оптимизирало, се е свело до това. Сега с изкуствения интелект доста се говори за него. честно казано, всичко, което пробвахме до тук, има някой съществен недостатък, който за нашата работа не върши работа. Примерно, колегите, когато пускат софтуерния робот да зададе някои първоначални въпроси, това е прекрасно и това е една от приложенията, които действително може да се ползва. За нашата, за моята работа, обаче за момента са под въпрос. Но продължаваме да следим пазара, още повече да се похваля един от нашите бивши стажанти от Empower, е в дъното на един от българските хубави изкуствени интелекти, който е до там добър, че даже може да отговаря на 3 въпроса в едно изречение. Т.е. да различи, че в едно изречение има 3 въпроса и да отговори на всички тях и това на 30-40 езика, ако не се лъжа. Така или иначе, това за момента все още не е тема. Без хартиен е офис. Причините доста се обсъдиха. Сега колегите от Ingram Micro са доста по-напред от нас в този процес. Ние сме малко по-назад. Все още избираме системата, която да окончателно да бъде внедрена. Те са тръгнали към DocuSign, ние в други посоки тръгнахме, но така или иначе и към момента говоря с не HR нещата, с чисто job tigerските неща, защото пък ние като агенция по подбор имахме доста неща, които трябва да пазим, които пазихме. Ще ви кажа, че сториджа намаля с около 20 линейни метра, шкафове изчезнаха, което пък мене ме прави безкрайно щастлив, защото тия прахосъбирачи просто са нещо, от което искам да се лиша за винаги. Така че тая тема ще я прескоча, наистина обсъдихме и то видяхме опита на много по-достойните от нас. Работата от всякъде е интересен проект и той е интересен, защото започна 2018 година по съвсем други причини. Намалявайки служителите, се оказа, че първо екипите са все по-задружни, второ искахме като награда да можем да наемаме къщи в Гърция, тук по нашото море и къде ли не, по планините зимата, така че всеки екип да се отделя за седмица-две, да си прави и като собствен тимбилдинг и да продължават работа. Това беше идеята. Естествено, едно е да се каже, друго е да се направи. Някои даже казваха не може ли по-бързо. Всъщност се премина през оценка на всичкия хардуер, софтуер и правила, които трябва да се променят. Избора на софтуери, подмяната, внедряването на нови софтуери и така нататък от неизвестно време. Смешното е, че когато дойде коронавируса и дойде локдауна, мисля, че седмица преди това беше инсталиран и предаден на служителя за употреба последния лаптоп по този проект. И когато казаха локдаун, аз бях един изключително щастлив човек и казах: хора, всичко, което сме тренирали, всичко, което сме говорили, всичко, което сте издържали като тренинг до тук, сега се вземете техниката вкъщи и продължете щастливо работа. Единственото, което подменихме, тогава бяхме избрали Zoom като нещото за конференции. Оказа се, той първоначално доста се претоварваше, ако си спомняте, и оперативният ни директор каза, че т.е. настоя да преминем към Teams. Още повече Teams има много по-добра интеграция с Office 365 и когато там се разменят файловете, пази се копия автоматично, добре се интегрира с Outlook и с срещите. Въобще това беше нещото, което се промени. Много хубав проект, страшно добре се отразява на хората, да имат свободата наистина, когато имат нужда или когато се безпокоят, да не се заразят, просто да си останат вкъщи и да продължат да работят. Намали доста използването на болнични, между другото, защото свободата да си останеш вкъщи и може би малко с по-малко натоварване да работиш, ги кара да остават на работа и пък и рисковете за заболяване намаляха. Цялото нещо също се каза, няма негативен, значи тук съм написал no impact for the operations, няма негативен импакт, има позитивен от цялото нещо. Действително и като спестено време, като спестени работни позиции, аз ви казах с колко е намалял личния състав, без да не се намали обема на работата, т.е. на свършената работа, на предаденото към клиентите. Хората са доста по-щастливи, защото не си губят времето с глупости. По-интелигентните, по-добрите, по-продуктивните, едно от нещата, които най-много мразят, е да се губят времето с тъпоти, като попълване на излишни поленца в някаква табличка или писане по някакви хартийки, разнасяне на документи. Работното време, спестеното и спестените хора и заплати. Сега, ние сме консултантска фирма, накрая ние продаваме какво работни часове. Колкото работни часове спестим и свършим същата работа, това са ни е чиста печалба, така че тук абсолютно няма две думи. За в бъдеще това е процес, който той е малко addiction. Никога не спира. Като свършиш в единия край оптимизирането, почваш от начало пак, защото там някъде нещо има, което те дразни, може да се направи по-добре. Дигитализацията със сигурност е пътя, по който ще вървим всички и се радвам, че в голяма степен сме пионери за много от нещата, които се правят. Няма на къде другаде. Това е пътя. Надявам се, че изкуственият интелект ще навлезе повече в сферата на човешките ресурси, защото големите организации, при тях има своя смисъл, но при по-малките все още цената на внедряването и на ползването на изкуствения интелект не винаги оправдава спестените ресурси вътре в организацията и това е големия проблем. Мисля, че това е и част от проблема в не големите по брой инвестиции и ресърч точно в изкуствения интелект, предназначен да подкрепя HR-ската работа. И другото нещо в бъдещето, специално по отношение на работата отдалеч, твърдо хибридни модели. Сега тук се изговориха много приказки. Това, което искам да добавя, че хората все пак обичат да се виждат, искат да се виждат с колегите си. Работата от вкъщи беше преди мечта за всички и сега доста колеги предпочитат, ако могат да идват до офиса, може би не всеки ден, но понякога, така че да имат това неформално общуване. Колкото и великите полисите за неформално общуване, за неформални срещи да работят наистина, споделеното кафе или цигара на терасата са незаменими. Това от мен. Видях, че има въпроси.
Да, нека да видим сега към теб. Има ли отправени въпроси, защото течеше комуникация в мейла. Let's see if we have questions to Zaro. Whoever has questions, you can post your questions in the chat. I see there was an exchange of questions to Eva, and Eva has been also addressing them. So if you also have questions to Zaro about some of the solutions that they have come up, some of the challenges that they have addressed and how they have addressed them in more details. We have one more minute on that.
Аз нарочно не навлизах в детайли, за да може, ако нещо конкретно го интересува, точно него да обсъдим. Иначе има страшно интересни детайли по всички това. Въпросът е да не досаждаме на колегите.
Absolutely. So whoever has questions, Zaro, you're still staying with us, right? So whoever
Yeah, I'm here.
Okay, whoever has questions, please put them in the chat, and Zaro can answer, or if not right now, we can ensure that we coordinate that process, and we get his input into your questions. Thank you very much, Zaro, for sharing the experiences of Job Tiger, and I'm really impressed about the number of FTEs or positions that you managed Over the years, yes, this is not only
Yeah,
like that.
it is not like that. It's position by position. And thank you, Andrea, for listening Bulgarian again.
Was easy
Okay.
because the slide were in English. Okay.
Okay.
Maria Rosica, to both of you, I'm giving the floor to you to share how we can actually replace or supplement our traditional HR approaches to talent evaluation and development with gamification, and what could be the impact on the employer branding and the company climate. The floor is yours.
Thank you. Do you see my screen?
Yep.
All right. Thank you. Well, definitely that's kind of a continuation of the topic that we covered so far, because it's great when the employees see your recruitment process digitalized, when they see a lot of the administrative process going digitalized. It will be great to have something more on top of that, because they usually expect, more when it comes to digitalization, and this is what gamification actually could do. So thank you very much, AmCham committee, for the opportunity to talk on this exciting topic. We'll try really to stick with the 20 minutes time that we have, although the topic is quite a big one for sure. So I'm Maria. With some of you, we don't know each other. I'm leading the business development team in Manpower Group Bulgaria. And here with me, I have my colleague Rosica, who is our gamification master, I can say. She's a person with very broad interest and knowledge in such processes, and already has been consulting more than 50 companies on how to gamify their HR processes. So why gamification is a topic with us at all? We do believe that finding new ways for engaging our employees is a crucial business necessity, and especially when it comes to those of them working remotely, like in the last 1 year plus already. So in addressing this business scenario, we have found the best solutions possible and would like to discuss them with you today. Just to mention briefly, recently, we made a new survey of the career expectations of Bulgarian university students, and its results once again confirmed that gamification is extremely well perceived by job seekers and employees as well, both of them. So gamified staff recruitment process is found as very much more effective than the traditional ones. As for gamified trainings, this is something I can talk with hours about, because it's really something different than all the rest of the traditional methods of training people. So having said that, I will give the floor to Rosica, who will suggest some practical examples on how to use the benefits of gamification in any kind of HR processes. Rosie, that's you now.
Well, thank you, Maria. Thank you, AmCham, for having us today. Well, first of all, I would like to say that when we talk about gamification, we are definitely not talking about anything new at all. Well, there have been references about gamified online systems back in the 1980s, which is like 40 years ago. Back then, Richard Bartle, who is a professor in the University of Essex, a pioneer in online multiplayer games, says that the word gamification itself refers to turning something into a game. There have been many other people afterwards who have tried to define and give meaning of the concept of the gamification. Some people, for example, call it the hot new business trend. Others compare it to serious games, Super Mario, etc. However, if we have to come up with a definition, it would state that gamification represents the use of game elements and game techniques mostly in a non-game context. Here, actually, I would like to stress out the non-game context part, because this method puts your employees in artificial situations. which, however, require skills and competences to be gone through, like taken from real life, real business situations. Your employees will try to escape a, let's say, deserted island to conquer some kind of a villain, but actually they will learn new, for example, sales techniques, strategies, or will train how to manage their teams more effectively, more consistently. Actually, to sum it up, gamified solutions at their concept give us a different point of view to the business reality that we're actually used to and face every day. And if we have to describe what actually gamification solutions do, we'll have to point out three aspects which are crucial to every organization in terms of developing the workforce. I would like to start with engagement because I would like you all to think of gamification as an instrument for designing a whole system which motivates your employees to do any kind of stuff that you would like them to do. And everything that drives your employees or even your customers to be more attached to your company, to your product, to be more engaged to your company's goals is very, very welcome. I'm sure that you would agree. Well, the reason behind this effect is very obvious. The human brain is keen on problem solving, dealing with kind of different riddles, puzzles, etc. And we also like to receive feedback, to visualize our progress, to know when we have done something right. You know, this is the greatest accomplishment. And this is something that you all know games usually give us. The second powerful aspect of motivation driven by games is that games actually give us a chance to experiment. Each and everyone has been afraid to fail, to not to reach their goal on time. But when we could start over, like in a game, failure doesn't seem that scary, right? And if the game is neither too easy nor too hard, it encourages the players to think of new techniques, new strategies, which if we transfer to real business environment would result in bringing innovations to the organization and mostly will stimulate the innovative thinking of the employees, which is something that I believe that we all desire. And the third and actually most important to me aspect of gamification is that it is proven that it works. We have tried it, some of our partners have tried it, and if you would allow me, actually, I would give you the example of two corporate giants who have adopted gamification in every aspect of their corporate policy, and they have proven to them, to themselves, to the organizations, and to all of us that actually gamification is something that we all should consider implementing in HR, not only HR processes, but every kind of process. You'll know that Microsoft launches different products, different updates of their products basically every year. In addition to that, their products are launched in many different languages. From Spanish to, I last read about some kind of Urdu language that I have never heard of, but it exists, and Microsoft has a product in Urdu language. So we have here not only great volume, but we have various languages on the table. All the products need to go under language verification, which I would probably surprise you, but unfortunately this cannot be done completely automatically and requires many set of eyes to go through each of, for example, dialog window that Microsoft has. And how do they manage to cope with all of that? They gamify the process and turn it into a simple competition. The employees collect tokens, medals, points, and they go through many achievements to reach their main goal. Thousands of people over the whole world check spelling mistakes in the dialog windows. They compete not only among each other, but also there is a competition among the languages. They win medals, as I said. Of course, there is a prize, but the crucial here is the non-material prize of knowing that your language has won the world prize. And I guess I wouldn't surprise you when I say that China won the competition. And Microsoft, as I said, is actually a great example, as like 70% of their internal processes have been gamified, and they use the natural competitiveness of the human personality to boost motivation, therefore results. Here we have language verification done perfectly. Of course, this influences the expenses, and at the same time, we have happy people who feel satisfied. They feel prized, and the result, as I said, is Microsoft is one of the actually. Correct me if I'm wrong, is the biggest Microsoft software giant. I could say much more actually about Microsoft, but I would like to point your attention to another giant, which is Fujitsu. They have implemented an instrument that we, Empower Bulgaria, and many of our partners have already implemented as well, and this is GameLearn. I would tell you shortly the story of Fujitsu Spain, which actually says that they have faced many typical HR issues. They have 3 different groups of people. Those people need to be motivated, they need to be engaged, they need to self-develop. They have, the first group is the young people who have, of course, potential, but are not yet ready to be delegated that crucial for the organizational responsibilities. And on the other hand, as everywhere else, we have the group of people who are over 40 years old, who, of course, could be entrusted with responsibilities, but sometimes they lack motivation. On the other hand, we have a third group, the management group, who has totally different needs, time management, and goals. And having in mind their wide geographical structure, they know, Fujitsu Spain knows that traditional methods won't help them here. To sum it up, they have 4 challenges that they need to solve. First of all, they need to bring innovation into people development, which is something I believe we all need to do. The second thing is that they need to encourage individual studying and self-improvement. Of course, this, especially when we talk about the times of a global pandemic, you know that the last year implemented and made remote office, remote work not a new method, but something traditional, something that we all got used to. So in times where we need to leave the initiative in the hands of people who are doing their job, their self-development remotely, we need to somehow motivate them. So they needed to find an instrument that could motivate those people. And of course, this leads to the need of a creation of new educational environment. Their solution, as I said, is GameLearn, which is game-based learning methodology. It combines 3 elements. The first is the practical content. We have the face of a simulation, and the third element is a game itself. Basically, each skill is turned into an instrument or a strategy that helps the players to develop their skills in a very safe environment. As a simulation, GameLearn, on the other hand, duplicates real-life situations, and as a game, as I already said, all of the results in engagement and motivation, in how should I say, engagement to not only to the employer branding, but to the obligation of just doing their job fine is totally different. And of course, Fujitsu experiences over 90% of improvement. What I mean is that all the people that went through the GameLearn based development program said that they would go through it again, and they would recommend it to every other person they know. Fujitsu actually notices significant improvement of engagement. If I remember correctly, it was measured to more than 60%. Even the mood, the spirit in their office spaces has improved. But however, I think that the greatest benefit is that their employees didn't have the feeling that they were a part of any kind of an improvement plan. They felt that they were given a gift from the company, which on the other hand made them feel thankful, drove them to kind of return the favor by working harder, by contributing to development of the company as a whole, of the industry as a whole. And as Maria said, this is a very, very broad topic. We could talk about the gamification of the development processes a lot, but gamification could be applied to every kind of process in any kind of organization, and it doesn't need great investments. It could be done by simply implementing a competition, by simply praising the employees for doing small steps, for achieving greater steps, of course. But if we go back to the recruitment part of our job, I will now point your direction to another instrument that could be useful for all of you, I assume. You know that nowadays, when we have a suitable candidate, usually the breaking point is the soft skills or the evaluation of the soft skills. So we all pay great attention to the soft skills during the whole process. And there are many great instruments. I believe that you all have used some that support that process, that part of the recruitment. But I would strongly recommend something that we use and have implemented, which is revealing gamified assessments. Some of you probably have heard of it. Revealing actually is an instrument that offers different kind of testing. They have emotified test, which is an instrument that tests the emotional intelligence, or how do people work in teams? Do they have empathy? Do they motivate the others? Which, as I said, in most of the cases is the breaking point when we talk about new or not new employees. The other thing that they offer to improve the pre-selection process is their test Gamified. Gamified actually tests problem-solving skills, numerical reasoning, verbal knowledge, which is, I'm sure you would agree, is crucial. And it's all gamified. I would like to stress it out again. It is all gamified so that it gives the candidates the sense of something, the sense of innovation. As Maria said, candidates are already expecting that from the companies. And I think that candidates consider gamified assessments, gamified trainings as a very, very great first step to their new potential working place, which automatically attracts them to the company. And if I have to sum it up, isn't this what we need for our employer branding? We need candidates to find us attractive, to know that we are trustworthy, to know that we are driven to innovation. And I believe that gamification is a very, very useful asset that we could all use. I don't want to waste extra of our time, but to sum it up, we're sure that gamification is the future of assessments and people development. Gamification is the future of any kind of process. And of course, we'll be happy to continue the discussion with everybody that is interested and needs more details on how gamification could apply to their specific process or plans or strategy. And as I said, it could be done everywhere in any kind of way.
Thank you very much, Ralica and Maria. And Ralica, this was a very interesting presentation. I'm sure provoked all of us to start thinking in the direction of, are we attracting the generations that are, for obvious reasons, already in the marketplace? And are we adapting our approaches also to their preferences? We have 1 more minute for everyone who has questions to the colleagues from Manpower, to Rosica, to Maria. Go ahead, guys. Put it in the chat, whatever question you have, or simply ask it verbally.
That's a long topic, you know.
Like all of the topics we shared today.
I really hope that it was beneficial for some of you. I know that some of you already use gamification in some of their processes, but we really want to raise the attention that it's an opportunity for the employer brand, and not only, you know, the whole employee experience can be different when they're engaged, when it's interesting to them. And you know, it's very interesting. But for example, a candidate is not, he doesn't accept, he doesn't, I mean, there is no job offer for him at all. But he goes after the recruitment process with certain company to all his friends and say, okay, I'm not approved for this company, but it was interesting and I want to share with you, I want to tell you. and this automatically raises a lot of, particular interest to
Spread the word. The best advertisement is by spreading the word. So yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Thank you very much. I don't see questions in the chat, but as you also invited everyone, and this also meeting is recorded and will be shared also with the rest of the members from the American chambers. You might be getting also afterwards direct requests, questions, and ideas how a certain challenge can be addressed. Tanya, how would you suggest that we close the session? I'm really happy, and I really am very impressed by how disciplined all the speakers were. And as we said, 20 minutes per speaker for all these topics was absolutely not enough. It just opens the curtain and provokes thoughts and leaves us, with food for thought. So thank you to all the speakers for the discipline that you had, and for the willingness also to share the challenges, to share the solutions, and to share the ideas. How we can digitalize our HR processes. Tanya?
Yes, indeed, Zlati. I think these are topics that will have continuation because really interesting ideas were shared. Thank you all for the participation and see you next time.